Hey everyone, this is the CI/CD UX review on November 16th, and it looks like I'll pass it over to Sunjung for the topic today.
Thanks, Emily. So I added some of the contexts before the meeting, and you can check the design issue there, but I think it's easier for me to share the Figma file. That's helpful. So before I share the Figma file, I can probably dive into the background information. I think maybe that's easier for everyone. And I think it's even easier if I share with you the real example. So give me 1 second. So actually, like now everyone on GitLab can access to this page. So if you navigate to explore navigation, and then there's CI/CD catalog with these icons, and then there's a lot of lists already. Actually, this unreleased part shouldn't be here. So we're working on to fixing this box. So once we clear out all the bugs, then we can enable this feature flag to everyone outside of the GitLab team members. So basically what you're seeing here is the list of projects. So this is a CI/CD catalog, and then there's a, sorry, my cat is, sorry. She's not happy. So sorry. And let's say we created a SaaS project, and one SaaS project can include multiple components. So what you're seeing here is essentially just one project, and then we're just rendering this readme.md file. So if I go back to this, not that pretty diagram, but I think this is the best way that I can like visualize the information hierarchy. So one project can include multiple components, but the components type could be added on later. So for now, we only have one component type that we call template. And later on, I know that like there's some cross collaboration going on for the step. So we want to introduce step, I don't know, at some point. And then step could be one component type that could be added part of this component catalog. So if we are, let's say, seeing this, so it's not the best option, but like for now, so this is my GDK with failed pipeline. But for now, I just push one template component type. So that means inside template folder, I have one component name called sas.yaml. So this means I only push one component file. Later on, user can add the steps folder. Users can add jobs folder that is component type name folder. And then they can add inside the YAML file, like, okay, I want to add components templates type inside this folder. And if they make a release, and they will view this change inside the CI/CD catalog. Like what we're presenting at the moment is still one project. So that means, so for now as an MVC, we don't show like what kind of components are inside this project in this page because yeah, it's MVC. But for the later iteration, we will have something like this. So this is essentially just the name of the components like scout, install, build. So this is the first iteration that we can move on. But is it really the right approach? Because this is our assumption at the moment that users want to find very specific components when they come into this page, and then looking for something. And then I ask engineers like, yeah, let's just have some examples. Like what could be the keyword or what could be the needs behind those keywords? And then this is example. So let's say I want to find a step. This is a component type, a step to build Docker image. So probably this could imply some component name. And then another component name would be, and I want to push this to my registry or somewhere registry. So they may want to find this information. And given the current UI, so this is just one iteration later, but given the current UI, they cannot find this information. The team started to discuss, like, is it really the right approach to having illustrated, like, okay, this is project, or is it even a better approach to just, okay, like this is all part of the Docker project, but probably it's better to show the component level, even though it's just one project, but they're already in the non-project context if they already are in this page. And then maybe it's better to show it per component rather than showing per project. So that's what I'm working on. And my ask for all of you is I'm looking for feedback focusing on the UI rather than the UX, because I'm now wanting to finalize for the mockup for my next solution validation research. And that's the reason why I wanted to get all of your feedback and then make it a little bit better proposal so that I can present most of the design to the users. Do you have any other question before I just open up my Figma file? No?
I have one question.
Okay.
Is the search that's in the design that you just showed, well, either, I guess, whatever, what does name mean here though? Which part is name in the list?
Oh, so component name. So we need to update this UI text. So I think for the next iteration, user will be allowed to filter by component name.
Okay, so it doesn't
think-
search any of the other text in the list.
Yeah, not yet for the description. I think for now, like only project name could be filtered. If you are like trying out here in the Explore tab, like I think only project name is filtered for now.
Okay, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
One thing that I saw, Sanjung, when you just answered Gina's question is that in the needs section, you highlighted that they really want to like find a component based on their requirement. And a sample requirement you shared was to find a step to build Docker image. But in this situation, we're assuming that the project name is Docker. But
Yes,
what
project
else are
name
we
is
doing
Docker.
Yeah, so what else are we doing to guide users to keep the name discoverable, like something that could be easily searchable based on what users would be looking for? Like any tips when
So-
they're entering the name?
For now, they don't have any other way. So they need to just find for Docker for now. That's the reason why we still call it as MVC, because we don't allow them to search for the component's name. But when we can claim that this is beta, then that's the moment that user can search for, let's say, build Docker. Then the project Docker will be here, but that is not yet supported. I think next milestone or so. Yeah.
Also, it does look like it searches the other text just based on what you
Yeah.
just
It does.
Yeah.
So
So if somewhere in there it said build Docker image, it would work, assuming they add it somewhere.
Yeah, and then we will have more filtering options like about the search. But I think like there were a lot of discussion going on, like what is the right way? Like, should we just represent component in one row, or should we just keep what we have for now and then just like, yeah, just making a list of component name should be fine. So that's the inside team discussion. And then if I open up my Figma file, this takes some time. But so this is one example that I think it'll work out. So this is component version. And then this is project version. So as you can see, I try to use the same example. So one pros and cons is like if you're following this approach, this is like way shorter. Like we can just contain in one row and then having everything inside this card and then like, yeah, that's it. But if you're going forward with this approach, because this project contains 6 different components, so the row should be populated like 6 components in one row. So this is just one downside. And I just didn't like the fact that because like this was for the MVC, I think we should make each component should be clickable. And then once user click, let's say on Docker build, then it should goes to the exact instruction for our users, not like just Docker general components because they need to scroll down and find. So I was stuck while I'm just playing around with design. So I need your feedback on this visual improvement. So I think this was one thought that I think it would work out. So I'm not a big fan of using accordion in this case, but something like this should work for now. But I don't think I'm comfortable with this design because like how can I make each components clickable here? And I don't feel comfortable hiding the components inside because it seems to be that it's important information. I know that we have an MR like to when to use accordion, and according to that discussion, like is it really the right approach to hide this information? So I wasn't sure about that.
In this case, I'm sorry, like, did anyone write anything in the agenda? Because I'm not looking at it.
I had one, but you can go, V.
Okay. I was saying that in this case, I think it's not fair because it will hurt the discoverability of the individual
Yeah.
components. Yeah, and
I agree.
everything you said is very familiar because I've heard the environments team echo the exact same concerns a few months back. So I think they would be the right ones too.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I just actually just added that we've struggled a lot with this collapsible. One of the reasons we struggled with it was the design for some reason had the collapsible arrow doing something different than the actual name. So like the arrow open and close it and components actually went to a different page. So that was one of our big
Oh,
issues is the component wasn't being used properly. So people were getting confused there, but at the same time, we also heard that the discoverability was a lot harder when things were hidden
mm-mm,
or collapsible. But I think you're solving the first part of this by having the component being used properly and not having the arrow and the word components doing different things.
yeah. I just like try to like visualize. But I'm not so sure, but I can be very, very transparent that I actually started with this. So basically, I just wanted to list down everything. I know, like this is weird, but I feel like, yeah, like probably this is what user want to have. But like, okay, let me move on with the Figma file. What should I do? And I couldn't find the right solution. So maybe we should like keep as it is, or we can use the tree view. But if I switch this to the tree view, then I think we will consume the similar vertical space as much as the concept too. So like maybe I can try that out, but yeah, what do you think about using the tree view in this case then rather than accordion? I mean, it's similar things, but make it more distinctive in a way because it's I don't know, it seems like it has some hierarchy clearly, but how about making more similar to what we have in the groups?
How
Yeah.
important is it for users to know the relationship between these different levels?
I think from the user's perspective, maybe it's like medium importance. It's more important for the producer's perspective because they need to organize the components inside one project. So they need to remember that they have this folder and then they have added this file inside this folder called Docker. So I think it's more important for the producer. But what I didn't say, it's like it's not that important for the user, so consumer, is because they have to include this. Let's see. So they have to use this line inside their GitLab CI YAML file. So I think it's also good for the consumers to understand the hierarchy because it's under SaaS project, it's under GitLab components namespace, and this is the SaaS component. So if they want to include every component in this project, then they can just get rid of this.
Okay, interesting.
I think it's like medium importance
Yeah,
from my perspective.
I think the tree is great to show relationship between those components or levels. But then it can get a little more difficult to search. I'm thinking like searching and filtering.
Yeah.
Okay. I had a comment at first, but now I'm like going back on it because initially I was gonna say I feel like listing out all of the components with the badge on it, like you did, is easier for users to find those because they probably have keywords that they're looking for that relate to those. But then and you're still showing what projects they're from because you're showing GitLab or Docker Scout.
Yeah.
So they still learn that relationship.
Yeah.
And I think it's just easier for them to find.
Mm-hmm.
My initial, like my gut feeling is that you should go with something like this that you're showing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. That's good to hear.
Gina, I was
Vichika, you
trying
have
to look for the work that you did recently where a group of runners, they like had a parent and you wanted to show that. I couldn't find the issue. I was looking for it, and I don't know. I remember you solving for something similar, that you wanted those individual runners to be accessible to users, but at the same time, like putting it across that it belongs to this group.
Yeah. I've also learned from that people were very confused with what I did, which was showing the parent and telling them the number of runners that were in there, and they're confused. So don't do that. That's also why I'm saying I think this list would work. I explored using, I think it's called it might be called a detail view. I don't remember. I'll get a screenshot of it. But on the left side, there's like a smaller column that shows, in your case, it would be the project, I guess. And then you can click on those. And on the right side, it's like emails kind of. And then on the right side, it shows all the details.
the drawers.
Yeah, kind of. But it's not a drawer. It's just the screen is like 1/3 of it is the list, and then the 2/3 is details, depending on which one you click on. I can find that. I think it's in a Figma file.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to explore another layout for the concept one because I just couldn't find better solution. And I feel like this concept two design wise, like I'm pretty much okay with this, but I have very specific question around which batch variant I should use here.
What is I don't know, does anyone know the color coded for the badges, like the purpose of blue versus the purpose of gray? I can't remember off the top of my head.
I think blue one is referring to like more informative, and I'm not so sure about the gray one. So maybe we can check together here.
I think gray is like neutral information.
Yes, it's neutral or muted, and the blue one is info. So the muted one is default, which I'm already using it for the version tag. And neutral is neutral meaning. Okay.
yeah,
And
I think you should use info.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
blue. I think the blue
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
Okay.
it should stand out. And that's what we are using at the rest in the rest of the pages as well.
Mm-hmm. But I also think like blue one is more correct and more aligned with our design system. But like, do you think it makes things a little bit more busy? Because it already adds like it's in every row. So I think probably it's too busy. So that was the reason why I thought of like, yeah, maybe just neutral version at work, but I think this is more correct based on our design system. So
What do you, I mean, like when I first saw the screen, the blue thing jumped out at me. Is that what your intention, like, is that what you want users to see first?
mm, I mean that's not wrong, but I'm just worrying about like if I'm making this screen a little bit too busy.
It's still less busier than 90% of the screen, so
Okay,
there's less to use.
okay. That's super good to hear. So yeah, I can use blue because like thanks to all of your feedback.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you're using
Eric,
great version. I see that here, and I think that's perfect. That
okay,
fits.
okay. And so I just imagine once user click this page, like Scout, let's say, and then we kind of like point our user to the anchored component list inside the README docs or components instruction inside so that they don't need to like scroll over to find the right components they just clicked on. But yeah, it seems like there's a way that we can do like what is grade 50. So yeah. So this is like how I can use it. Another question around color variance. So this makes me think like for a while. So if we go for this information variant, like do you think it's fine to use the neutral color here? Because I thought, should I make it like informative color like blue here? And I think I tried. Did I remove it? I think I tried. But I think it was a little bit too, I don't know. It was really busy. Let me see. Find it. I think I removed that. But what do you think about this consistency? Like using the neutral tone here for the component type inside the details page, but before clicking over, they will see the blue badge.
Right now, the list that I see, it took me some time to understand that there were like subheaders there, like job and stuff were subheaders and not a part of the list.
Here,
Yeah.
then I can just try out now with the blue text, blue 500. So yeah, this was the one that I
I like
started.
personally.
Okay.
I want to hear what others think.
Yeah, that's much more obvious that it's different sections, I think, for me. I was reading them all as the same when they were
Yeah.
gray, whereas this looks very
Okay. Then I'll go with all blue colors. Thanks to your feedback. Ah, I love it. And it seems like Erica has another point.
Yes. So just when we asked that question, which is a really good one, of which thing do they want to see on that page, I think we want to give some visual priority to, yeah, going back where we were talking about the blue popping there. Yeah. I think they need this sentence or like this action clause, like list of vulnerabilities and images, install. That's like what they really want to understand what each of these things does.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's a
I
way
think
they,
so.
yeah,
Yeah, and then this also aligns with what Erica's finding in the, I think it was from the alpha program that like,
yeah,
even though like the producer did their best to organize their components. Like Docker build, probably they think it's really obvious, but for some people, like they want to find something like build and push Docker image. So that was the reason why, like originally Erica suggested to have like one line summary for each component. So I think this align with like what you're saying as well, and align with the research insights.
I wonder if we can give that even more visual priority.
This one.
Yeah.
So
Just remembering it's like a set and forget workflow. And they just, here they come. All of this might not make any sense, but that sentence.
So I just did one layer change about making a little bit more darker because I use secondary color, but we could also use the primary color. But I'm not sure how it looks if I change the order. Nah, nah, no.
Is there a way to, yeah, I don't know what the right thing is. I just know that that's like what they are going to be looking for. Is there a way to move it like in the middle? No.
But probably something similar like this would work because this is what our global search result is using similar way that they have using this path. So project path with the smaller font size below the row. So probably this is way to go. But I mean, like visually, I feel like the less row, like just stacking up like this has more like, I don't know, visual stability in a way. But I agree with your points that like probably they are more looking for the description as well. But I'll think about it because I can highlight this text when they are searching and filter for the components. So let's say they are looking for, I don't know, Docker build and push. If it is the keyword, then we can highlight this keyword like with the bold color.
Yellow.
And then I think this will already highlight the search results.
Right. And one thing that I see the search being like how would you guide users like how to search for a thing that they're looking for? And something that just comes to my mind is maybe they can have like action with a list of install, list, build, push, then technology, Docker, something else, npm.
So I think we're not yet there, but for the future iteration, we will have very complicated search and filtering options.
Okay.
So maybe I can pause and switch. Sorry,
The other one.
the wrong one. So this is how I imagine for the future iteration that we will have like more rich filter, like component type and tag or category that they're looking for the mobile or deployment. Is it for the cloud? And then they can have also option for sort by. But this is just one option for that. So this might change.
I have a theory about this, that this is for
Okay.
users who know what they're looking for.
Yeah.
But what if like a person who only knows what they intend to do with the components, like they only have their intention in place and they have no idea what we call component types, what we use as tags. How would they look for something? I mean, this is for something later. I know this doesn't fit this particular
No. I think that's
exercise.
great question. I am just like, because I couldn't find the right screen because I'm bad at organizing things. I have that one. I cannot find it. So I don't have a design here, but one idea that I have at the moment is like in the future iteration, we can have like what is top used components like publicly, what is top 3 most used components in your organization, something like this. So we can kind of like suggest like what users can use, because now like for the later iteration, we will get some numbers like how many people started to include this component in their project. So I think we could kind of provide and tailor like, hey, so if you don't know what to do, this is the most common like used components, probably per tag, or just like, hey, so this is just top 3 most used components in the future, but I don't have that design. And I cannot find it for now, but I had an exploration around it. So for example, like when users come into this page and then they can just search for whatever with the natural language, like really like a human language. And then we can also pre-select the filter based on the search keywords here. And then we show the result. And I don't think we require a lot of like AI powers. That's what I've heard, but that's one thing that I have keep in mind.
Yeah, so
Does that
there
answer your
is
question?
definitely room for
Yeah.
some, what do you call it, Erica? Is that AI assistance? That a question, like instead of a search bar asking you to like tell the search bar what components you're looking for, if you ask users what you're looking to do with the YAML that you're building and make suggestions.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. Yeah, I'll need to create another mockup. Once the beta release is there, I'm going to create like more futuristic mockup after that. And I found it. Yeah. So something like
Yeah,
this.
this is perfect.
Yeah.
This is exactly
Something
what I was.
like this. Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Um,
Also, I just wanted to say the search that you have like in production today, how it, I don't know what type of search that's called, but the fact that it brings back results from any text that's in the row, I actually love that, rather than having to like scope down each drop down to find what I want.
got it.
It's actually like easier, I feel like, for me.
Okay. So maybe like we can like use some more like real example, look like placeholder, kind of like encourage user to use the real like just natural language, and then we can go with this option. And then I like this layout because I have more width to add more filters, like whatever I want. So I prefer to have 2 separate search and filter in terms of layout, and then like having the list below as they want. So yeah, not for the whole MVC. Okay. Of course not. Um, and do you have any other feedback? It seems like Gina has one.
Oh yeah, this was small, just on your previous screen when you were showing the detail page of the component, and then like included the bar on the right. Yeah. I was saying you could also add the, like, use that same info badge on the type of component that this is, somewhere if you wanted to. We do that for runners, so it just made me like think of that.
Yeah, I think that's a great feedback. I'm not so sure if I should use the pipeline batch. No, right?
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
So
I was
something
thinking
like
like
this.
it would be, well,
Metro-
you could do that. I mean, that's pretty cool, but you could also put it next to the title of the, like where it says
Here.
Docker Scout. Yeah, right there. Yeah. Just to make that connection with the list.
Yes.
Let's do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. I love it. Actually, I prefer to have a plain text here and then having it here next to the component's name, so that it's really clearly show that your anchor link starts here.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I
love
think
this.
that's great. And then
Yeah.
also stealing another thing that we did from runners, for each type of runner, like instance, group, or project, when you hover over the badge, we give you a definition of what that means. I don't know if you were planning on doing that with your type badges, but it's another way that you could educate users if you wanted.
Yeah,
I definitely want to do that. Yeah, that's great. Sorry, Bitka, I interrupted you.
No, I just seconded everything she was saying. That tooltips definitely help. We have so many of them, so many badges and pipelines. So yeah, it can definitely help if you don't want them to go to the docs to figure out what they're looking at.
Thanks. And Bitika, it seems like you have the next one, but is it covered
It's
already
just,
or?
I just made a note. I just didn't want to lose that point, so I made a note there.
Okay, okay. Oh, thank you. Any other feedback?
I think you did a great job with this. So much work.
Thanks for all the great feedback because I like, as a designer, just like it seems like a small design decision, but I had to just sit down and think like, where should I go? And then I am really glad that I have this opportunity to like share my concern. And then like you all like let me know that like blue one looks not too bad. Then like that makes me feel more confident, like, okay, let's go with this. So yeah, I really appreciate you taking time with me today. And I'll stop sharing if you don't have any other questions or thoughts, or if you have any other ideas that you want me to trying out, then please reach out to me. Like probably this is not the only option that I can also try out. So yeah, let me know.
So one thing, Sinjin, that you had mentioned earlier about the feature discovery moment for CI catalog, I have found like a set of opportunities for you. It's in the Figma file that I shared in the UX CI/CD channel. So a
Okay.
whole section I separated. So currently we don't present different empty states for paid and free plans. And my new suggestion is that we do bifurcate the experience there because we have catalog available for premium customers. So we should not hesitate pushing that to them.
Yeah,
Although I'm
that's good
also
to know.
thinking that if somebody's a premium customer, why wouldn't they use GitLab CI?
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, do we have those numbers? Like how
Yeah.
many premium customers are using CI?
Emily, do you think the growth team would have that number?
Someone may. Like, I do know the growth team did take better care of, but I'm not sure. You could reach out to like either Gail,
Or
or
Paige?
Gail, Page, or Sam might have info on that.
Okay. Yeah, we should ask for them because I'm also interested in to see, and then like how many SCM users throughout those premium tiers, like who are not using CI like CD of GitLab. Like maybe we can also kind of encourage them, like, hey, so here's CI CD catalog. Maybe you can consider adopting it. Yeah. So yeah, Emily. I think I got all great feedback from all you all.
This was good work.
So my last question,
Thanks.
just because I like asking this, is for this recording, is there anything confidential in it, or can I just add this as?
You can just add this.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. When I looked at the agenda, I was thinking that maybe this has to be private, but you didn't mention those points, so all good.
Yeah.
Cool. Sounds good. Awesome. Well, I hope everyone has a great rest of your day.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Cool.
Bye.